What to do if you lost your Android device? We got some help finding a good VPN from @Lifehackers, subwoofers, FreeNAS, and oh yeah, there's new gear from Apple. All that and more coming up on TekThing. TekThing is brought to you by viewers like you. If you get value from the show and would like to keep it coming, please go to patreon.com/TekThing and consider contributing.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm not nearly as sassy, but still Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we make technology behave.
At least on the good days. Shannon's excited because HBO Now is launching in April, just in time for Game of Thrones for $14.99 a month. In theory, all the HBO content you've been asking for, unbundled from a subscription, which is why it's called HBO Now instead of HBO Go.
I kind of like this, but seriously, is it just an Apple thing? Because if this is just an Apple thing and you have to have the Apple TV...
Stop. Launch partner. Monies, marketing agreements, there was exchange. So Apple TV, iPad, and iPhone is the initial launch partner. So probably 30, 60, or 90 days. If you go to order.hbonow.com and you scroll down and you find the FAQ and you go down, where do I get?
So he's smart. He looks at the FAQ.
What devices will HBO Now be compatible with at launch? Desktop, laptop computers, as well as iOS devices, including iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch, and Apple TV. HBO Now will roll out 2 additional devices soon.
Yes! So I don't have to buy an Apple TV.
But if you do, they drop the price to $65, which is a response to Chrome sticks and the Amazon Fire Stick.
Roku.
Well, yeah. And I would expect it will be out on Roku very, very soon.
I'm really stoked about this because that means I don't have to go to my friend's house and watch her stream every time I want to watch HBO. Go to her house. Yeah,
I'm familiar with that. Also in April, for $24.15, the Apple Watch.
Ooh.
All my watch friends are really upset because the $10,000 version doesn't do anything more than like the cheap version, and the cheap version is still $350. And everybody I know who already owns a Moto 360, like Darren over in the corner over there, is like, what? Your battery life sucks, Apple.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I don't know. It's a nice piece of design.
It's pretty. I like the round edges.
Yeah, but it also feels a lot like Android Wear in the sense that it's really looking for something for you to do.
Yes, that's very true. You know, for the very first time ever, I actually saw Darren use it to see a text message and talk back to his Moto 360 for the first time ever, like a day ago. So, like, really, how much are you going to use it? That's my question.
Well, the thing I like, a couple friends of mine were really excited. They're like, oh, it's got a microphone and a speaker, and I'll be able to answer calls by talking to it. So, I don't know. You're either into the smartwatch or not into the smartwatch. I will say the battery life should get a lot better, and the feature set should get a lot better the longer you wait. But you've heard me say things like that before. What did you think about the new MacBook?
Oh, man, look at all of them ports. I mean... Maybe
port. So this is interesting because we do a lot of video editing. We deal with a lot of large files around here.
Oh yeah.
All I could think was like, it's beautiful. The specs sound amazing. Gold, a little over the top for me, but tempting just because. And then all I could think was, you know, I bought an iPhone 6, and then I bought like $125 or $150 in cables and stuff to replace all the 30-pin cable stuff that no longer works. Now there's USB-C, which is an unbelievable port. It'll power it. It's your video connection. It's your drive connection. It's going to require a bunch of adapters at launch if you want to use it with your existing stuff.
I'm not a fan of having to buy new proprietary things for all of my new devices. Not a fan.
The keyboard design looks really, really cool. I will say that. Basically, instead of doing the stupid split springs, they've got a new sort of fiberglass.
Gosh, look how thin that thing is.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like 25% thinner than a MacBook Air.
Wow.
You know, the screen, it should be gorgeous. I mean, 12-inch display, 2304 by 1440 resolution. Force Touch is going to be interesting, which is essentially their trackpad that doesn't click. And essentially brings in a super right click where it's kind of force sensitive, and the more you press on it, the deeper you go. Just to be ridiculous. But that's the one right there that's kind of curious for me. That's the USB-C connector. It's reversible. It's the power supply. It's going to be your video connector. It is the only port on the entire machine. Is right there.
What?
How? I think, John, I think it's a bold move.
It's very bold.
And you notice they're not doing
People
it.
are going to buy it.
Yes.
People will buy it.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah. I won't buy it. It's not for me.
Well, how often do you? How often? Okay, so I
actually have like 3 USB devices, and I have my headphones plugged in every single day. I use the HDMI every day. So for me, it would be very expensive.
That's really interesting.
To
There's
upgrade
no.
to this.
That just made me wonder. Is there a headphone jack on it?
I don't know. Where's the SD card one? Because I got a flash
There is no
SD card
SD card
for my Raspberry Pi.
You're getting an SD card adapter. Is there
I
going to be a
wanna do that
USB-C
either. And then I have to
to
get a
2.0
new
or
USB
3.0?
adapter because it's the USB-C.
Yes.
No thanks.
Headphone port. Oh, good.
I'll stick with my PCs.
Okay, so there's 2 holes in the machine: the USB-C connector and a headphone port.
No.
That's still an optical out, digital audio out too.
All right.
In any case, cool, shiny, exciting, and just to completely change things up, we got an interesting question that popped up around the warehouse here. What do you do when you lose your Android device?
Yeah, so this was on my mind because my friend, she had lost her Samsung Galaxy phone. She freaked out, didn't know where it was, and she was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to reset all my passwords. I'm going to have to delete things and change everything and turn off my bank account. And I was like, chill out. Like, you don't have to do that. First off, preventative measures before you lose your phone is really important to set up a passcode or some kind of lock on your phone because, you know, that's going to be pretty important,
well,
right?
if the phone is unlocked when they pick it up, it's their phone in a deep and abiding way. So the newer phones have the kill switches. So if worst case scenario, if someone steals your phone, you can kill it and make not just your life miserable, but their life miserable. So that's a good thing.
So luckily, yeah, and a lot of them can let you like type in a little reward if found text on the lock screen. So if you do have a passcode on there, somebody can still call you and say, hey, I have your phone, and return it as a good Sam. But one thing that Androids allow you to do is this thing, Android Device Manager. You should definitely turn that on before you actually lose your device. It's very important. Android Device Manager is a simple app that you can set up on your phone as well as access online. But the problem is you might need to have a 2-factor authentication set up to access the Android Device Manager. And if you have Google Authenticator on your phone, how can you access Android Device Manager if you're using 2FA with Google Auth on the application? See, there's a little bit of a confusion there, right? Like, what happens?
You can see the puzzlement in my eyes.
You can see the puzzlement, yeah. So Android Device Manager, this is what it looks like on your PC. Really easy to use. So you can erase your phone, you can lock your device remotely, and you can also ring it. So if it was local and I knew it must be somewhere nearby, I can ring my phone. Even though it's on vibrate, it still rings.
Oh, wow.
And then the only way I can turn it off is by actually unlocking the phone and letting it stop ringing.
That's the lost in the house, lost in the office, lost in the car kind of thing.
But if you know that it's somewhere else and you're really worried somebody might get access, you can lock it remotely or you can erase it. Now, if you have 2-factor authentication set up with Google Authenticator on your phone and you need to access it remotely, make sure you have your backup codes. Backup codes are available. You can just Google the website for it, Google two-step verification, and you can set up a backup phone number, so if you have a home phone, and you can also print out these 10 unused codes. So those are backup codes in case you don't have the Google Authenticator application available. You can just type in these codes when you log in as well as your password and still gain access to Android Device Manager.
There's a theme you should be picking up on right now, is that these are things you need to do before you lose the phone.
Yes.
You need to have your backup code somewhere other than your phone. You need to have a backup number or address or contact that's other than your phone.
So what my friend did, she printed out these 10 unused codes. She put one in her wallet because you don't know what it exists to if you just cut it out with some scissors and stick it in your wallet. It just looks like some random numbers. So she just stuck one in her wallet. She has one at home and then has one like in her car in case she loses her phone and she has one of those things nearby. Now, if you don't have those unused codes or that backup number, you can also use a security key, such as a YubiKey or some kind of physical key that you can put into your computer that will also let you use 2FA whenever you want to log into Android Device Manager. So the key thing is use Android Device Manager, have those backup codes available if you have lost your phone. Now, second off, moving on, if you have lost your phone, go look for it. If you're in a really busy place, it might have just end up being gone. Somebody might have stolen. Maybe somebody just happened to see it laying around and they will give it back. There are good Samaritans left in this world, hopefully. Have a friend call it. Luckily, the ringer's on. If somebody answers, ask them to return it. Offer a reward if you desperately need the hardware back. If not, just lock it and erase it and tell the police that it's gone. If it's definitely gone, erase it. Android device manager, like, pff, it's kaput. Next, for your most used and most important apps, remove the app-specific logins from your account. Most of the time, you can just go to the settings and choose revoke access for the Samsung phone. So, for example, I could go to the Twitter website or Facebook and just revoke access for the Samsung application. Reset passwords if you need to, such as for your bank account, if there's an app for that on your phone, and then tell your carrier that the phone is stolen. They'll lock the IMEI, which is basically the serial number of your phone, so that nobody else can use it and they can't sell it. If they try to, it's locked down. Nobody can actually add it on with a new SIM card or anything. It won't work. Notify the police. Let them know that you have the location of your Android device if you used the device manager, and give them the serial number if it's available. Hopefully they can find it for you, but if they can't, well, at least you have that backup, that information in a file, so you can get your insurance money if you have insurance on the phone too. And lastly, let your friends and family and coworkers, let them all know that it's lost or stolen in case they get any kind of weird text messages or phone calls or anything like that. You don't want them getting scammed through your phone or through your text messages. And stay safe. So don't go running after that thief by yourself. I mean, maybe you could do it, but not me.
Well,
I'm a little small.
It's okay. So part of the reason we bring this up, we talked about the sort of kill codes as being the kill switches built into phones being a really big deal, reducing crime significantly, and here in the Bay Area, down in LA, probably New York City, certainly London, but at some point. Yeah, it's an expensive piece of hardware, but there's nothing more frustrating than turning a corner and getting your ass kicked.
Yes.
And, I have a 17.5 or 18-inch neck. It's hard to kick my ass, but it can be done, and it has been done. So remember, is the hardware worth the potential ass-kicking by somebody who was crazy enough or desperate enough to steal your phone in the first place?
Let the cops handle it. Like, as much as you see all these amazing stories online, just let the cops handle it, because you don't know when you're going to actually run into danger over a phone.
Yes.
I mean, it's really not worth it. You can find a cheap one on eBay, seriously.
I got to say, the new Moto E, terrible camera, other than that, a fantastic phone for not much money. Did your friend find her phone?
She did. Luckily, she did. So she couldn't access the Android device manager because we ran into that two-factor authentication issue, and she didn't have those backup codes available. So we basically just had to backtrack back to the park where her phone just happened to be sitting on a picnic table. Luckily, it wasn't stolen, but as soon as we got back to the office, she printed out those backup codes.
A picnic table here in Richmond.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Yes, I can.
It was amazing. So we got really lucky.
Or really isolated.
Yeah. Sometimes things happen.
That's awesome. You know what I just realized? Outside of the expense of buying all new adapters, I'm really digging the new MacBook.
Oh no! I'll let you do that review.
I'm not ready to. It's tempting. AskTekThing.com is the place to ask us questions. So do us a favor. Send us a question, send us a comment, share an idea. We got a couple of your ideas coming up later in the show. Right now, though, we're going to talk to Darren and find out what's going on over at Hack 5.
Making LED rainbow waterfalls with Arduinos, FPV quadcopter racings, hacker spaces in Europe, all sorts of awesome stuff. You can find it this week over on the sister show, Hack 5.
It's time for a rapid fire round. This week we're going to answer 3 questions off of Twitter in less than a minute each. Are you ready, Shannon?
I'm ready.
Go!
Let's go. At Mini Nessie tweets, at Patrick Norton, at Verge, do either of you know of a good electronics backpack for cell phone, laptop, and more around $30 to $40?
So it's kind of funny. As a lot of you may know, I tend towards industrial sort of grade backpacks.
That you do.
This thing sells for like $260 new. Go Ruck. Amazing backpack. Turns out you can buy them actually used or at their events, like their test models and stuff, cheaper, which is how I got this one. But it turns out most computer backpacks, i.e. packs with a computer-specific slot or envelope, start at around $60. I am a big fan of badass overbuilt packs made up in the US, like the Go Rack I showed you. And if that sounds ridiculously expensive, check out Tactical Tailor's operator pack, or the urban operator is what they call it. They're about $130, up from $100. But these are made in the U.S. The build quality is outstanding, and they're really, really good. It's a bargain for what you get. It will take forever to destroy. That said, for $30 to $40, check out the Amazon Basics laptop backpack. People love it. It's $29.99 on Amazon.com.
Wow.
Yeah, 416 customer reviews, 44 answered questions, 4 stars, #1 seller in laptop and notebook computer backpacks. But if you need a decent backpack for no money, that's about as cheap as you're going to get a decent backpack with a computer slot in it. Renee FCB Wong 0012 tweets, can FreeNAS or plugin work to replace my Drobo and give the same features as a Drobo?
Ooh, that's a good question. So FreeNAS is amazing open source software. Seriously, Patrick is a huge FreeNAS fan.
FreeNAS with ZFS is amazing, but
a Drobo is a lot simpler. If you want to open the box, slide in the drives, power up, and log in and have a server, you want a Drobo. FreeNAS will do most of what a Drobo will do, and it'll probably do it faster, but you got setup, you got configuration, and you got doing things like using different size drives. That is going to take a lot more work.
A lot more work. Yeah. Seriously, you're going to be trading a lot of time setting up and installing a FreeNAS compared to a Drobo. And if the thing you love most about a Drobo is upgrading to larger drives, you're going to think FreeNAS is a major pain in the patootie.
Good point.
FreeNAS, DIY, lots of learning to set it up correctly. Drobo, grip it and rip it. You're gone. You're done. It's just, they're really opposite.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's true. And Scott Dulgarian tweets, which subwoofer for $500? Polk 550WI, SVSPB 1000, or Velodyne Impact or other, using a B&W inwall?
I gotta say, you know, if you owned your house, it would be really tempting just to get sort of the Bowers & Wilkins in-wall subwoofers, the ISW4, ISW3. Those are really, really cool. They're also really, really expensive compared to a $500 budget. My personal favorite for subwoofer brands, and you've listed a bunch of good brands, Velodyne's great, they're all really good. My personal favorite is Shoe Research, and they are actually, so these guys are down in Southern California, they do amazing stuff, and right now they're running a sale on their VTF1 Mark II subwoofer for $419.
Nice.
Regularly costs like $460. These are amazing subwoofers. And if you have all of the money, they will give you all of the bass.
Gosh.
Yeah,
look at those prices.
That's a pretty, well, yeah, but that's like a pretty genuine 15 hertz subwoofer. This will shake your fillings out of your teeth and your neighbors and your neighbors' neighbors.
I have neighbors, I probably shouldn't get that.
No, but if you don't have neighbors, you know, you can get down, there's much more affordable subwoofers in their lineup. They make really good stuff.
Fancy. Do you guys have a question for us? It can be anything. You can tweet at TekThing, post on facebook.com/TekThing, or you can email us, ask@tekthing.com, and we'll do our best to answer it for you. You guys, our patrons, and everyone, because this episode is brought to you by viewers just like you. If you're enjoying the show, please consider donating over at our Patreon at patreon.com/TekThing. You can donate whatever you want. It can be a nickel, a dime, $5. All those contributions go directly back into the show production and keeping us fed. And remember, if you guys can't donate, that's okay, no worries. I totally understand. We would love it if you could share the show with your friends, if you subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/c/TekThing, and if you send us your questions on your favorite social network. Thank you so much for supporting TekThing over at Patreon.
Time to get our VPN on at Omar Razul tweets at TekThing. What are some of the best free VPNs? So we invited our favorite VPN-obsessed life hacker editor, Alan Henry, on to get all secret paths on the internet with us. Alan, welcome to TekThing, man.
Thanks for having me.
I feel like you're like right in the room, and I feel like at any moment Skype will hiccup and we'll have a full fail.
Oh no.
I'm also laughing because like you're in 1080p, you're really close up, and I can now read the titles. I didn't realize those were all cookbooks behind you.
Just on the top there, yeah. Got some fiction books down here and some literature over there and records back there.
So we should probably start out, I like the records. Is that a Massive Attack record in the front?
It is. It's Blue Lines, which I would tell any Massive Attack fan it's one record they should own on vinyl.
And a Pikachu over your right shoulder. I'm going to stop looking at the background because we're supposed to be talking about VPNs. Virtual private networks. What do you think people are using VPNs mostly for these days? Like,
There's probably two big things. I think there's half of the people who use VPNs are really using them for privacy and security. They're looking for ways to encrypt their data from anybody who may be kind of snooping on their networks, or they're using Wi-Fi at a coffee shop at an airport, and they want to make sure that no one's capturing their data. 'Cause, I mean, honestly, it's not hard. Anybody sitting on Wi-Fi at an airport can start sniffing packets, and if you're not encrypted, all your data can get sucked right out of the air by whoever wants to have it. Then there are the other people who are probably using VPN to get around location blocks. They want to watch the BBC, and maybe maybe they live in the UK, but they're visiting a friend or family in the US, and they want to catch their old shows.
Or they live in America and they can't get curling without tunneling into Canada over a VPN.
For example, curling, which is awesome. I love curling. I took your suggestions with great abandon. I love curling. I love watching curling.
It's then you realize that people do it like bowling in large parts of the cold part of the world. So it's drinking and throwing 30-pound rocks on ice. It's special. So are there any good free VPNs left?
There are a few. It is tricky to find a good free VPN because, I mean, obviously, with anything, if you're not paying for it, either they're getting their money's worth out of you somehow. People like to say, well, if you're not paying for it, you're the product. But in some cases, you may not be the product, but something you do may be the thing that's valuable. I'm a big fan of Hotspot Shield, for one. They have a free plan. It is ad-supported, but they give you a certain kind of amount of access per month without having to pay for anything. And then if you need to, or if you're willing to upgrade, you can. CyberGhost does the same thing. They also are freemium. They have a free plan that they kind of use to introduce you to the premium product. And then there's TunnelBear, which you guys talked about on a previous episode. TunnelBear they give you a certain amount of bandwidth for free. And then if you tweet about them, they'll give you some more. But those guys are great, and they work really hard to make sure that they keep kind of your privacy. They respect your privacy while still giving you a free product.
So one of the questions we had recently is like, thanks to the NSA, I don't trust any commercial product. I have to get away from it all. It doesn't seem to be, there's no real easy open source DIY VPN. I mean, nothing
that's really like I install this and then I run it and I'm good. No, nothing like that. Now, if you're on the level where you're willing to like install your own firmware on your router, like Tomato or DDWRT or OpenWRT, installing OpenVPN isn't that much more difficult because, one, you'll have a router that supports it right out of the gate. But installing something like OpenVPN, it takes some time. It's a weekend project. Someone who's really tech savvy could probably get it done in a few hours or an hour maybe. But someone who's not, that's a really tricky project to take on.
And then, of course, you have to take on the responsibility of updating everything yourself and make sure that you're keeping on top of the security updates, because there's nothing more embarrassing than realizing that you forgot to update something and your entire system has been opened up as a result.
Absolutely.
I get paranoid at times. So, cool. So, anything you can tell us about what's coming up on Lifehacker this week, or is it all secret?
Oh, yeah. No, I can talk about it. So, I think today we're talking about some things you should know before you move from a small town to a big city, because we've done the opposite before. Our new food blog, Skillet, is talking about some awesome uses for Caesar salad dressing, and we're doing some food hacks over there. We have a whole blog dedicated to food hacks and stuff like that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, we're also relaunching After Hours, our blog about, life hacks that you may want to browse in incognito mode. So
the not safe for work life hacks. Is that safe to say?
Exactly. I think you captured it very well.
So lifehacker.com, and where can people find more of your work on the interwebs?
I'm at lifehacker.com every day. You can find a post by me there anytime. Or you can just follow me on Twitter. I'm Halo Phoenix. I talk to pretty much anybody who talks to me.
It's true. He's nice that way. Thanks so much for joining us, Alan.
No problem. Thanks.
Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Henry, lifehacker.com. Dude, go follow him on Twitter. He's a nice guy.
We got a great tip from Christopher. He writes, love the show. In your latest issue, you had a user ask about playing the same audio to 2 different Chromecasts from one PC. This can easily be done using a piece of software called the Airparrot 2. Also, you can stream the same video feed to multiple Chromecasts with this software or something different to each one. I am currently testing this as a cheap solution for digital signage and have displayed 2 Fire TVs simultaneously. Hope this helps, from Christopher.
This is why I love the fact that you guys are helping us with the show, because we have 4 eyeballs between the 2 of us, and y'all have tens of thousands of eyeballs times 2, because there's a lot of you out there, and you're all looking on the internet. airsquirrels.com/airparrot is the website, and you get a license for a single machine for $15.
Interesting.
It's pretty cool, actually. It's a really slick piece of software.
Yeah, this looks pretty cool. So you just buy the one license for your PC.
Yes.
You don't have to buy them for all your Chromecasts or anything like that.
No, my understanding is if you want more than one PC or Mac or whatever, you
then
need
you
more
have to
licenses.
buy additional licenses.
Yeah.
But it's just one payment that you have to make. You don't have to do like a monthly service plan. That's cool.
I just want to know who's buying 5,000 of these at a pop.
Well, once they're $5 each, you might be saving some cash right there.
That's a lot of computer streaming. BOGO Interactive tweets, would you still build your own machine or buy pre-built? I ask this as my Dell is crapping out.
Well,
you have a really good answer to this.
I do, yes.
But I want to point something out. If your machine is starting to die, just do back up your data and put a fresh operating system install with all fresh drivers. It's amazing how many dying PCs are the result of bit rot in your operating system. Just saying.
That's so true. So we did do this as a segment in episode 3 of TekThing. So the short answer is yes.
Yeah.
You can build it or you can buy it.
Build it. Yeah, we're good either way, because we buy computers, we build computers. It's just.
It's true.
If you want exactly what you want, you build a computer.
Yes, I am building my PC for serious this time, so I do want your recommendations though. If you go, and I'll put this in the show notes, over to pcpartpicker.com. I've started my build over here so you can see exactly what I'm trying to create here. I'm going to buy all the different parts of this and then build it out here on the show so you can see it from start to finish. Yay, I'm so excited. So my budget for this is going to be $1,500 before tax, so because California taxes are crazy. And then I'll need a solid state drive for the OS and a hardy hard disk drive for the storage of all my pictures, videos, and everything like that. Sticking with Windows 7 for the time being, I'll probably just upgrade later. This will be for gaming specifically, so definitely a mid-range video card. I don't need the brand new video cards on the market, not the ones that are $700.
No, but you're not running. I mean, you're not running 4K video. If you have a 1080p monitor, you don't need a $600 video card.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to have. It doesn't have to be the newest thing on the market, but I would like it to have HDMI and VGA. That would be good, so that I can upgrade my monitor in the future. So it'll be kind of future-proof.
You still have a VGA monitor.
I do still have a VGA monitor. My husband has an HDMI one.
Do you hit the power button and it goes boom?
No.
Because it's a big old CRT?
What? No. So I also want to know, should I do dual video cards?
No.
I've never done that before.
No.
Okay. 16 gigs of RAM at least, because
Yes.
I like 16 gigs of RAM. Intel i7 CPU. I might go i5 if the price is comparable. I was looking at the 4690K 3.5 gigahertz quad core, which seems to be pretty awesome. It's only 222 on outlet PC, so I don't know, that might be a good one. It needs to be quiet. This is going to be for podcasting as well, so that's very important.
I have just the air cooler for you.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's
I
cheap.
will listen to your recommendations. Awesome. I want this gaming machine to last for 3 to 4 years, so somewhat future-proof in that sense. I already have a keyboard, mouse, monitor, and speakers, so I don't need any of that stuff. I will need a new mid-sized tower, something that definitely fits the video card as well as the drive bays, because I do plan to have at least 2 drives. My current one will be recommissioned as something else, my current tower, with lots of stickers on it. So I want to hear your recommendations. Check out what I have currently on here, and if you have something that you might think is better, let me know. Email me, ask@tekthing.com.
Or post on our Facebook page, facebook.com/TekThing. We want to hear from you, especially about Shannon's PC build.
I'm so excited.
Epic.
It's been like 4 years. My computer is totally dying. It
See?
just has a hard disk drive, and it's
You
very
the
sad.
First couple, 3 years, then when you upgrade to a high-resolution monitor, then you drop in that second GPU. But we'll talk about this in another show.
Yeah.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on TekThing. Oh, I'll bring the energy in the A block. Huff at me. Come on, huff at me.
Velociraptor.
I work with dinosaurs. Rolling, 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 rolling. What? Time for a rapid fire round. This week we're going to answer 3 questions off of Twitter in less.
That's my work.
You're like a daisy chain. Booger flicker. I got proof you're a booger flicker. I bet you fling poo too. I suppose since we may as well record it. Alan's here. I've finally got my crap plugged in properly. Oh my god.
No analog thing this week?
Oh, well,
We don't have to.
We'll see if anybody notices.
Okay.
If nobody notices, then